Good afternoon, my name is Cathy Smith and I'm the lead for our improvement methodology of Transformed Care Production System, so now being known as TPCS. And so welcome, and welcome also Melissa Lynn. I'm not sure that we can see her at the moment. But Melissa, if you want to shout hi.
Hello everybody.
She's there. Yeah, she's there. And Melissa is our Transformational Sensei from Virginia Mason Institute in Seattle, and many of you have met Melissa this week as she's been back to see how our journey is continuing. And every time I see Melissa, it takes me back to when we first started this journey in September of 2015, when I went over to Seattle to undertake my advanced lean training. And 8 o'clock in the morning, found myself high-fiving with the Americans, thinking, what on earth have I got into? And fast forward a couple of years, we are now on our 29th and 30th Rapid Process Improvement Week. We have our first patient, Julie, you'll hear from later, acting as sponsor. We've our first medical consultant who's taking his team lead role, and so much work to see this week that Melissa has found her way around the trust with the help of Rachel, once we've carried on with the 2 improvement weeks. So you will hear from the 2 RPIWs. They're very different. They're outpatient setting, inpatient setting, very different group of people coming together, many of whom hadn't met each other before they started the week. But if you listen carefully, what you'll hear is they put a lot of effort into listening to understand. Quite often when we're listening to interject, to give our opinion, whether we've been asked for it or not, quite often. But what you've all had to do this week is listen very carefully to each other, the problems you're trying to solve, and how your work can make the processes safer and kinder for not just our own staff, our own patients, but the whole community, and some of it is, well, all of it is really impressive work. So I'm going to hand over first to here, and then we'll be going to Shrewsbury and back again. So we're hoping all the technology works beautifully with very exciting. Okay.
Good afternoon, my name is Mary-Claire Wigley and I'm a Cancer Promotion Office Specialist, and I've been the workshop lead for this RPIW, who will be reporting out to a cycle time of 11 minutes. The RPIW for this week has been theatre procurement. The boundaries were from when an item is identified as being required for an operation to when the item is received in theatre. The Gemba with theatres here at PRH and are awaiting assembled work on this RPIW include staff from procurement, stores, the project management office and theatres PRH. This fantastic team have used 5S, setup reduction, visual controls and mistake proofing to address the defects and waste in the process. I'll now hand you over to them so they can share their story.
Good afternoon, my name is Tony Fox. I am a surgeon and ALT graduate, and I've been the team lead for this RPIW. The target process report for this RPIW has 7 metrics. The baseline metrics are from direct observation, with the targets set by Paula, our sponsor. The total lead time for this RPIW, from when an item is required for my operation to the item being received in theatres, was 119 seconds, and the target set by our sponsor was 0 seconds. The second metric was staff walking distance. The baseline, 136 steps from theatre 5, with a target of 0 steps. The third metric was steps transporting the item, with a baseline of 68 steps and a target of 0 steps. 3 quality defects were identified as follows. 75% of operations required at least 1 additional item not available in the immediate theatre store. The remaining 2 quality defects used an experience-based design questionnaire asking 2 questions. 1, how do you feel during the preparation and finding of stores needed for a list? 2, how do you feel when using or working in the stores areas at PRH theatres? Baseline measurement for neutral or negative comments was 100% for both questions. The target for all of these quality metrics was 0% defect. Our last metric was measured using the 5S tool, looking at both the theatre store in Theatre 5 and the main theatre store, otherwise known as NAV store to those in the department. The baseline measure was level 1 with a target of level 4. The tank time or pace of the work was 52 minutes and 30 seconds based on a theatre list of 210 minutes and a caseload of 4 patients. Reviewing the value stream map, the cycle boxes show what happens at each step in the process and who is involved. It shows how long each step takes and the weights between each step. The Kaizen bursts demonstrate defects and wastes in the process. The current value-added time for the patient is only 17%. The process flow chart shows the wastes on the pink post-its, and the red and yellow wool shows the flow as inappropriately timed and with defects. I will now hand you over to the team who will tell you about the work that they have been doing this week.
Hello, my name is Ian Jackson and I'm over the theatre store team. The problem which we identified was around the ordering of the theatre loan kit process and the time it was taking away from the theatre stores team doing their normal roles within theatre. The idea to solve this issue was to refocus the ordering of the loan kit back to being clinically led and having the theatre team lead in theatre take charge of the loan kit ordering process. We tested using PDSA, our new revised loan kit process, with the theatre team leads and a number of discussions with the surgeons and the members of the MSK team. The results were very positive all around, allowing the focus to be put back in control of the theatres and the focus to be put on the patients.
Hello, I'm Keith Roberts, Senior PMO Manager and a member of the away team. While the initial RPIW description of theatre stores may sound trivial, when putting this into context, as a consequence of items not being available, this means that there is potential to elongate procedure and then anaesthesia time for approximately 15,000 patients per year. The importance of the RPIW becomes significant. In terms of solving the problem, based on the evaluation of the idea forms, it was clear that a significant link to reducing the need for theatre staff to leave the theatre was ensuring that the required theatre equipment and supplies are available within the theatre. So what did we test? In conjunction with a member of the theatre team, we 5S Theatre 5, reviewing stock lines, setting stock levels and introducing standard stock-up sheets, therefore, as a result achieving a level 2 on the 5S grid. In our initial observation, we saw a significant number of examples of staff needing to leave the theatre to collect stock, which is evident in our stock standard worksheet. This improved significantly by day 4, and one of the comments from a member of the theatre team was, if I don't have to worry about stock, I can concentrate on looking after the patients.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe Middleton, I'm team leader in aesthetics at PRH Theatres and one of the 2 process owners for this RPIW. As a member of the theatre team, I'm keenly aware of the impact a shift in focus away from patient care caused by a variety of challenges. One of those issues, as identified on the percent load chart, is the necessity of theatre staff having to leave the clinical area to stock the theatre. This is a constant issue and compromises patient care. We have formed a plan to implement a stores-run theatre top-up service. This, in conjunction with building stock demand levels and list planning in advance, will allow clinical staff to stay in the clinical area caring for the patients. We did a direct comparison of the theatre list run with and without the top-up system in place. This enabled us to view the impact of the idea in 3 different ways: monitoring the number of times staff left the theatre, the time spent out of theatre, and the impact that had on the staff and therefore the patient. We were clearly able to demonstrate a stark contrast in all of these factors as shown on the revised percent load chart, ultimately proving the impact of this system on improving patient focus within the theatre.
Hi, I'm Matt and I work within the theatre stores. The store adjacent to the theatre department, known as Nabs' storeroom, had become chaotic and overstocked. This made it challenging to find stock in a timely manner, so we removed excess and out-of-date stock. A revised colour coding system was introduced for trauma, scrub and anaesthetic, including a new store map. New stock levels have been set for internal items, so items now are stored and organised according to frequency of use. Products are now more visible and less chaotic. Standard process is set and our remeasures will monitor compliance.
Hello, my name is Katie Greenouch and I've recently joined the KPO team. As part of this, I've been working with Nabs on his storeroom. We started at level 1 and we've achieved level 2, and this has meant the store is now well organised with a project index, which allows someone with no previous knowledge of the area to gather equipment. The storeroom has now become standardised and enables the staff to work in a more efficient manner. The new ordering system has created additional time for the store staff to support the theatre staff. The journey isn't finished though. Further improvements are required in this area. Our aspiration is to achieve level 5. I would like to finish with the words of Simon Wright, who would have thought that directly improving the storerooms would impact patient care.
Hello, my name is David Lewis, Logistics Manager and Away Team member. The problem was there was no scheduled ordering process for PRH theatre stores that adhered to a schedule in the main RSH central stores for supply. But there was dual ordering from Ian and Nabs for the same items duplicating work. These are time, motion and transportation wastes. A scheduled list of required stock items to order and pick will be compiled by Ian and Nabs at the same time each day and sent across to RSH central stores to pick. Nabs stores will be classed as working stock, so we'll give an extra buffer and safety net of stock if there are supplier issues. We have prioritised the PRH theatre pick in RSH central stores to the first one conducted in the morning, as it is also done for the RSH theatres. We have arranged that this stock will be transported over to PRH theatres at 10:30 to enable Ian and Nabs to replenish their stock queues from 11 AM onwards. The results were that we have eliminated duplicate stock item ordering by Ian and Nabs, reduced stock held on shelves as the stock levels have now been aligned to stock demand from the theatres. The right item in the right place at the right time.
The team have achieved a great deal this week. The future state process flowchart shows the process has been simplified. Waste has been removed from each of the process steps, and the information flow is now defect-free and timely. The home team in theatres have been fantastic this week. They've given feedback, trialled ideas and worked through the 5S of the storeroom alongside their busy roles. As process owners, Nabs and I will try and help embed the changes, and through the newspaper I will see through the outstanding actions, which will be reported back to the sponsor. We will remeasure the metrics at 30, 60 and 90 days to show the continued improvements.
The away team have been a pleasure to work with this week, and I think you should all be incredibly proud of yourselves. I think we've all made new friends. But they've worked so well together, and even though they're a small team, they've made huge improvements. The value stream map shows that the majority of ties and bursts have been addressed. The lead time target of 0 seconds has been achieved. Targets for staff walking distance and steps taken transporting the item have also been achieved. Quality defect remeasures confirm that no additional items were required, an improvement from 75% defect to 0%. The experience-based design questionnaire final results measuring neutral or negative comments revealed for question 1 a reduction from 100% defect to 20%, an 80% improvement, and question 2 100% defect to 0%, 100% improvement. The 5S of both scores has improved from level 1 to level 2.
Setting the boundaries for this RPIW felt hard, There was so much to do and so much desire to try and make improvements for patients. This week has been messy, quite literally with the 5S, and tiring for the teams. However, their trust in the methodology and process has moved them towards some fantastic measurable improvements, which will facilitate safer care for patients and improve working environment for staff. This is just the start of work for the Staunton Theatre team, and with the understanding of continuous improvement that the team have demonstrated this week, we will only see them move towards even safer and kinder care. We have many people to thank this week. The away team have been great fun to work with. I've enjoyed seeing the friendships and mutual respect developing in the team. The extra help with the 5S that the team received from Jenny, Mina, Wayne and Martin from the RSH Staunton EDC Gold team was absolutely invaluable. The size of the 5S area would not have been possible without their support. The home team in theatres have been very tolerant of the 5S going on in their stores and responsive, giving their feedback in a very busy working environment. Thank you and congratulations to Tony on completing his first team lead role. His calm and enthusiastic leadership has really allowed the team to achieve their targets this week. Finally, thank you to Paula, our sponsor, for really embracing her role this week and investing her time and expertise, as well as freeing up additional staff to support the 5S.
I'm Paula Davis and I'm Head of Procurement and I'm responsible for this RPIW. I undertake my lead leaders and my vaccine training as well, and following that it was absolutely key that we wanted to embed those principles into our working areas. So, wow, I don't know what to say. It's impressive, you've delivered and some. The RPIW wraps it up in a few minutes, but the amount of work it has been undertaken is incredible. With a reflection, I just wanted to basically say that from my point of view, the KPO team and the trust values go hand in hand, and that's demonstrated today or throughout the week. Together we achieved, so the theatres and the procurement team have got better working relationships, it's joint working, joint ownership with one goal, it's better patient experience. Make it happen, the dedicated time that we've allowed through the RPIW for the people and the resources to be able to get involved and produce what they've produced this week. Proud to care, so the passion for all of the staff this week is not in question, and we value respect. So the learning and understanding of each other's roles and how they impact on one another and how they need to work together, just brought it all together. So I want to say thank you to the home team and the away team. You've done a brilliant job. You've really made more than I'd expected. I want to say thank Kathy. Sound like one of the Oscars, don't I? I want to thank Kathy for taking on the RPIW. I went to Kathy and asked her for some help, and we got it. I want to thank Tony and congratulate Tony on his first team lead. He's done a brilliant job. I think for this RPIW it was really key that we had clinical senior involvement and senior management involvement. I don't think we'd have got where we have without that, so thank you very much. And thank Mary Claire for workshop lead and bringing control and focus to a very busy RPIW, and we're just absolutely keen to make sure that this process continues and goes forward, and we work together to get even more out of this week. So thank you very much.
Okay, well, we'll try and follow that then. No pressure. So, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for attending. This is the second report out for the RPIW that's been happening here at Shrewsbury this week. I'm Louise Brennan. I'm Senior KPO Specialist, and I've been Workshop Lead for this RPIW. This is the 30th RPIW we've done, so that's a massive achievement as well. This week's Process Improvement Week over here at Shrewsbury has been for the Ophthalmology outpatient value stream, and the team this week has been focusing on what happens when a patient's appointment is cancelled and then rebooked. The team assembled this week to address the scope include booking office clerks and managers, admin apprentice, coordination team staff, executive assistant and a clinic prep clerk. Lean concepts of 5S and state proofing and level production have been used throughout the week to improve the flow in the process and remove waste and defects that occur throughout. I'm now going to hand over to the team. They're going to be telling you what they've been working on.
Hello, I'm Richard Stevens, KPO Specialist, and I was the team leader for this RPIW. So the Target Progress Report details 8 metrics. We had 2 lead times for this process, first being from when notification has been received that a patient appointment needs changing until a new appointment letter has been sent out from SaTH. The baseline was 255 minutes with a target set at 20 minutes. The second lead time was from when notification has been received. Patient appointment again needs changing, but this is due to leave processes. And this again is until a new appointment letter has been sent out from SaTH. Baseline was 2,465 minutes, that's 41 hours, and the target was set at 20 minutes. 5 quality defects were identified as follows. Percentage of annual leave forms that are not fully completed, which has a baseline of 20%. And from our experience-based design data for our patients and staff, the percentage of neutral or negative responses to the question, how do you feel about having to change a patient's original appointment, had a baseline of 91%. To the question, how do you feel about the response you receive from patients who contact the booking office about a change to their appointment, the baseline 91%. And for our patients, how did you feel about having your original appointment changed? Baseline is 100%. And how did you feel about the information on your letter informing you about the change to your appointment? That has a baseline of 90%. And with all quality defects, these quality metric targets were set at 0%. The 5S of the annual leave form performer was a level 1 and the target was set to level 4. Tack time or pace of the work for this process was 33 minutes. The value stream boundaries, again, are from when notification has been received, patient appointment needs changing, to a new appointment letter has been sent out by SaTH. Cycle boxes show steps in the process, who is involved in each step, and the delays are seen between the steps. Defects, the wastes, can be seen on the Kaizen-Bers. Current value adding time for the patient is 13%, that's for short notice cancellations, and 2% for the leave process. And the current process flowchart shows the waste in the process on the pink post-its, red lines denoting that there's untimely and defect flow of information throughout the whole process.
Hello, my name is Karen Maloney. I am the coordinator for ophthalmology. We identified that the clinicians were not completing the leave requests correctly, resulting in a lot of rework by the medical secretaries and the coordination team. This was a quality defect rate of 20%. We realised that the medical secretaries were best placed to complete the leave requests for a designated number of clinicians. These would then be sent to the coordination team for approval and onward distribution on a daily basis to the booking team. The leave template was amended following discussions with the medical secretaries using the 5S principles. All documents and processes have been uploaded to the intranet, and an email from the ophthalmology management team has been sent to all staff involved in this process change. We reviewed the 5S level and have increased it from level 1 to a very strong level 2. The feedback from the staff involved in this process has been very positive.
Hello, my name is Chloe Lloyd. I am an admin apprentice in ophthalmology. The problem we identified was a delay in changing patient appointments due to defects in the leave process. The idea to solve the problem was to create standard work to support the medical secretaries with the leave process. The clinician informs the secretary with the leave dates. The secretary then goes to the clinician's leave process on the intranet page. The updated form is then completed using the guidance and checklist. Once completed, it is then sent to the coordination team for approval and onward distribution as required. We have run many PDSA cycles throughout the week with the medical secretaries and the coordination team. Following great feedback and recommendations, I now feel we have a robust system for ensuring a defect-free leave request that can be processed in a timely manner, which has enabled the team to transform from a batching process to a one-piece flow.
Hello, my name is Astrid Lynch and I'm Executive Assistant to the Chief Operating Officer. The problem we found was that it was taking 255 minutes from when a notification was received from a clinician for short notice leave or sickness to the patient being sent a new appointment letter. The idea we had was that once the coordinators had received notification from the clinician, that they would call the booking office to alert them via telephone. The assumption was that this wasn't possible, but on further discussion we discovered that the booking office is manned from 8 AM. The booking team would then call the patient to explain and apologise for the short notice and rebook the patient's appointment. This would level the workload between the coordination team and the booking centre staff. We ran a test on Thursday morning where a member of the team contacted the coordinators at 8 AM to ask them to cancel the clinic at short notice. The coordinator rang the booking office straight away and the booking clerk could have started contacting patients immediately using the new guidelines. This resulted in the baseline time being reduced to just 11 minutes. The percent load chart shows a reduction in not only the time it takes, but also a reduction in the number of staff now needed in the process due to the revised standard work.
Hello, my name is Lisa Jones. I am an ophthalmology booking clerk. We found the problem was that patient appointments were being cancelled and rebooked due to annual leave or short notice change requests. This often meant that rearranged appointments were not suitable for the patient. The booking centre can receive up to 20,000 calls a month from patients. Using an experience-based design questionnaire, 91% of our staff felt uncomfortable, frustrated and guilty when talking to patients and changing their appointments. The idea to solve this problem was to generate standard work for staff by giving guidance on how to communicate and reassure patients. This process will also mean the patient will have their appointment changed at the time of the call, therefore reducing the number of future repeat calls into the centre from concerned patients. We tested the length of time it took for booking staff to cancel and rebook a patient's appointment without guidance took 2 minutes 15 seconds, and using the new standard work only took 1 minute. The introduction of standard work and guidance for staff when cancelling and rebooking appointments has seen a 100% improvement in the staff response to the experience-based design questions. Staff said they felt more confident and talking to patients and felt more empowered.
Hi, I'm Caroline Wills and I work in the clinic prep team. The problem we identified was that the following feedback from experience-based design questionnaires: our patients felt frustrated and confused around having their appointment cancelled by letter and the amount and type of letters being sent. Following further feedback from the clinic, the overwhelming response was for patients to have direct contact to enable choice. The booking office now telephone all new patients irrespectively of timescale or reasons for cancelling and rebooking an appointment. I supported Lisa to co-design scripts which we tested out with patients at clinic, as well as our sponsor Julie, who uses the service. We also engaged with an ophthalmology consultant and medical secretaries to develop a part within the script to provide reassurance to both patients and booking staff when having to rebook new routine patients quite far in advance. I used the patient experience to measure our level of success during the week, and by the end of the week we had achieved 0 defects with very positive responses.
Hello, my name's Debbie Powell. I'm a team leader in the booking office. In the booking office, there is a lack of knowledge with regard to rescheduling clinics. This issue is due to a high turnover of staff, and there are a lot of new staff in post. Rescheduling is quite complicated. This lack of knowledge means fewer staff are available to complete the work, which causes an increase in the time it takes to advise the patients of their change of appointment. The idea to solve the problem was to produce standard process descriptions to make rescheduling a clinic as simple as possible. We produced a flowchart to advise staff which SPD they needed to use when a clinic change request is received. We also produced standard work simplifying the rescheduling of clinics with e-referral patients booked in. Feedback from staff was that the flowchart and the SPD is easy to follow. This means more staff will be involved in rescheduling clinics, which will reduce the time it takes to change an appointment and notify the patients.
Hello, my name is Kath Tranter. I'm the Booking and Scheduling Office Manager. The problem we identified was that the booking team had been receiving calls from patients confused about the letters we had been sending. This was resulting in some patients arriving for an appointment that had been cancelled. During PDSA, the feedback, however, came apparent there was an issue with e-referrals generating 2 letters. This was resulting in the wrong letter being sent to the patient. They were not receiving a rebook letter, just a letter with an appointment. Patients were not always aware of the original appointment had been cancelled. With some support from Paul Waring and Ian Green, we contacted our off-site letter distributor, our own IT and PAS training team to get to the root cause of the problem. We've been given assurance that this can be corrected, but as yet has not been tested or proven, which I will do over the next 30 days. To fix the problem for now, we have introduced a different process to the booking team to ensure the correct letter is going out to the patient. The letter will be requested at the point of rebooking and has been included in their standard work. I am confident this new process will ensure our patients receive the correct letter until such a time a permanent solution is achieved. The future state value stream map shows the improvements we have made this week have eliminated most of the Kaizen bursts. By changing the process within the booking team, we have eliminated the 2 end cycle boxes. The future state process flow also shows that we have removed all the defects in the process, and the black wall through the process shows great improvement in the flow of information. The work this week has crossed 3 Gembas: the booking team, the coordination team office and the medical secretaries. I've been extremely grateful for their feedback and challenge throughout the week, which has enabled us all to make some great changes that will benefit both our patients and staff. As process owner, I will continue to communicate and implement the changes made this week through the 30-day newspaper, and I look forward to reporting out the re-measures at 60 and 90 days.
So, with the introduction of standard work, busting assumptions, mistake proofing and 5S, the lead time for short notice changes has been reduced by 96%, and that's down to 11 minutes. And down to 240 minutes, that's a change of 90% for leave requests. Following 5S of the annual leave form and the process around that, introduction of standard work and guidance, the percentage of annual leave forms that are not fully completed has been reduced to 0%. By getting to the root cause of a problem with the letters, introducing standard work to enable more staff rebook letters, and by offering patient choice by now telephoning to offer new appointments, both the patient experience data and the booking staff experience has reduced to 0. And following a revision of the annual leave request performer using 5S, the level has increased to a very strong level 2 and is very close to level 3.
This week has all been about peeling the onion. The team have found out that when you start to unpeel the process, at times it can feel a little bit uncomfortable and it can make your eyes water. An RPIW can be a bit like a game of pass the parcel. Once you start exploring a defect, you have to unwrap it to get to the prize or to understand the real true root cause. Sometimes it's not the prize you're expecting, but once it's exposed, you now know about it and you can go about fixing it. So what have SPUDs got to do with the Transforming Care Production System? Well, this week we learnt that the language and terms used can be a little bit difficult to remember. The booking team were introduced to the concept of standard process descriptions and SPDs when Kath, their manager, was doing her Lean for Leaders training. The team renamed SPDs as SPUDs. They just found it easy to remember. So it just shows it's not about the language, but it's the concept that's important. And if SPUD works for the team, then SPUDs it is. I'm really proud of the team this week, the away team. The team normally start the week really quiet and apprehensive, but not this team. They were laughing along all together on Monday morning, and they've supported each other throughout the week. The team are really, truly exhausted, and that's because of the volume of hard work that they've done throughout the week. They've all decided that they would like to meet up again, so they've made lots of new friendships as well. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank lots of other people that have helped us out this week, who have tested out the team's ideas and provided feedback. And thank you, Richard, for supporting the team throughout the week. This week's been sponsored by Andrina Weston and Julie Southcombe. Julie is our patient representative and also a service user. And this is the first time that we've had a patient as a sponsor for an RPIW. So thank you, Andrina and Julie, for setting really challenging targets that even made me question if it was achievable. But the team that's kept the team really focused, and it's been at the forefront of their minds, and they've been making improvements. So thank you very much. Great work, team. And I'm going to hand over to our sponsor for some comments. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Andrina Weston, Patient Access Manager and co-sponsor for this RPIW. I think the team have done an exceptional job this week, and through using the TCPS methodology, not only have removed waste from the system, but have transformed it so that staff and patients can benefit from the changes. The targets we set this week were very challenging, but I think they've actually exceeded most of our expectations. So I'd like to say a big thank you to the team and hand you over to Julie.
Okay, it's all about the patient, isn't it? You are out there, aren't you? I can't see you. Okay. For me, this has been a real excitement. I'm really engaged with this style of improvement. For me, as a patient, I can see immediate changes. They may not be relevant. I was thinking of the theatre staff over at Telford. It's about changing and improving things for you, the staff, and the powerful impact that has on me, the patient. So I want you to try and understand, and I keep talking about this, the impact that the staff environment is huge on a patient. I can't see very well, I'm in ophthalmology, but I can pick up who's stressed, who's upset, and who's angry just when walking through the door. And if I walk in through the door stressed, upset and angry because I've got 4 letters and I'm not quite sure which one's which and the dog has eaten 2 of them, it becomes very difficult. And to see this team, I've been there nearly every day, to see this team pull together and meet the challenges that we've set down has made me cry, because you're working with me. For the first time, we're doing it together. And I just want to say a really big thank you to Kathy, to Kath, to Chloe, brilliant, to Astrid, to Debbie, to Carolyn, really nervous, but bless her, she got there, well done. And to Kath, I just want to say thank you, because you put me first, and that's how it should be. Thanks, really.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you've not met me before, my name is Melissa Lynn. I'm the Transformation Sensei from Virginia Mason Institute, and I've always had the honor and privilege to work with many of you and many yet to go as we embark on our Transforming Care Production System journey here at Shrewsbury and Telford. I've had a very busy week, as you know. We come back on a quarterly basis on what we call Sensei visits. And it's not here to assess anybody, it's not here to evaluate and let anyone know that they're doing anything wrong. It's just an opportunity to see where you all are, to celebrate with you, and then to encourage you to go even further, because you're starting to capitalize on the excitement, those opportunities where you're unpeeling that onion and saying, oh, blimey, we've really got to do something about this now, right? Because you can't unsee the waste anymore. So it's just had some brilliant conversations all week as people are struggling with some of the barriers that they're experiencing on the Genbas, but then they're also coming away feeling inspired and saying, you know what, I just heard about this really great idea on how to engage some of my most difficult team members, and I just love to hear the brightness in your eyes and the lilt in your voices. One of the things that Paula Davis just mentioned during her sponsored comments was about the trust values, and one of the things that has always stuck out a bit for me is make it happen. You're going to have to bear with my poor drawing skills, but make it happen is such a powerful statement about how we can all come together to support each other, our fellow team members and our patients. But sometimes we take it in the concept of making it happen and promoting the heroics that come out of it, being superheroes, and being able to drop what we were doing in front of us and go help out a fellow colleague. And while that is good, that is absolutely wonderful that we're all so passionate and we know that it's right to make sure the patient is safe and that they're well on their way in their experience, especially as we're overwhelmed, understaffed. Make it happen shouldn't be about heroics. It should be about thinking about the root causes and what's actually really preventing us from being able to do the right thing for our patients and for ourselves as staff members. Otherwise, it's going to constantly be a Groundhog's Day, right? Where you're constantly battling the same problems every single day. And while you're supporting each other, but you're throwing more time, you're throwing more money, equipment, and people at the symptoms and not the true root causes. So I'll offer you this bit of a controversial thought here, but instead of make it happen, I want you to consider instead make improvement happen. So when there is a challenge ahead of you, when there is a problem ahead of you, instead of saying, right, we're going to just take this person and help you on a temporary basis, take a look at what the problem is. Ask those 5 whys. What's the wastes, the 7 wastes that are actually in front of you that are preventing you from doing your jobs and preventing you from doing them well? And make improvement happen instead. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, for those who don't know me, I'm Sarah Biffin, I'm the Deputy Chief Operating Officer and I'm representing Simon Wright here today. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the team that have worked so hard this week and the team at PRH. You've done some amazing stuff, and if you've changed something from 41 hours to 4 hours in the space of 5 days, or even 4 days, because I know the first day is all about learning, you've done some phenomenal stuff. Julie, you're right, it is all about the patient, but it's also about our staff, because our staff work really, really hard, and we've had a really difficult winter. And, you know, if we can work together and have, you know, patient as a sponsor is absolutely fantastic. So I just wanted to say a big thank you, and I think we've got some certificates to hand out for all your hard work.
We've got the home team as well. Where's Paul? Paul, on behalf of the booking team. Karen, sorry, Karen, before you sit down. There's nobody here from your team, so I can see. Oh, there is. Where are you? Yes, please. Oh, yes, come on down. And I don't think the medical secretaries could get here from there, so we also have one. Home team, where are you? Behind you. Come on down. And also we've got one from the home team, so on behalf of from the team over at Telford, got the home team stores over here, so would you like to come down?
I'm second to last, which is Cathy. Hopefully colleagues in RSA can see me as well. So just following on from Sarah and Melissa and others, most of what I had written down has all got said by others, so I'll try not to repeat and best eliminating waste style. So let me concentrate perhaps on colleagues here at PRH. Like Tony and others said, I think we have achieved a great deal. I think Julie encapsulated it by focusing on the patient and also therefore what can we do for ourselves as the staff. And I think it's really, really important for the staff, but actually that focus on the patient and what it means I think is really, really important, so thank you. I think the other bit for me that I took out was don't underestimate what is important and the opportunity to simplify, because I think that's also what you've been able to concentrate on, so that's great. And also, both teams have mentioned the opportunity for looking at the remeasures and the next steps, and I think that's a really good example, picking up what Melissa said, but not only let's look at maintaining improvement, but also the continuous improvement side. The other bit I suppose I'd take from both sides is how important some of the tools are. We've looked at ideas forms to create, to address problems, the standard work, the PDSA, the Gembas, and I've learned a lot of new terms today, which are onions, potatoes and parcels. So thank you very much indeed to both teams, and as I'm here at PRH, especially to our team here at Theatres. But I know, again, just a special thank you to Julie for being a patient sponsor, because I think is a critical moment, but so important. I think we've got some certificates as well, Tony. Fantastic. And 18 stores, departments. Anybody who can take that? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
That's been a full-on afternoon of improvement, hasn't it? So we'll let you get away and start the weekend. Thank you for bearing with us. Simon did text me at something just gone 7 o'clock this morning to say he'd much prefer to be in the room with you this afternoon than where he is. And the message he wants to give that our improvement work is so important that we do it with our patients and with our staff. So thank you to both teams for demonstrating just how to do that. We're going to leave it there and have a good weekend.